Hi guys, Mr. Matt here. I hope you all had a good Memorial Day weekend, and I'm back with another art project for you guys for this week. This week I thought that we would do artwork in the style of Brazilian pop artist Romero Britto. And he's known for simple symbols and really bright colors and patterns. Um, Here I have some I can show you. You can see, here's one of a dog. It has like a, well, it looks like a lollipop, but it's a rose, simple circular rose shape, and all the bright colors and patterns. I don't see something else here because he does do more than just dogs. Here's one with a heart. It's almost like a landscape. Like this looks like land and a sunset, and a heart that's kind of in the sky with all the pattern. It's like a worm that's above ground and below ground with a crown. It's kind of neat. So we're going to do artwork kind of in the style of Romero Britto. And I'm just going to use 12 by 18 white drawing paper and markers for this. All right, so I'll stop this and change views, zoom in on my paper, and show you how to get started. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to start with the Black Mister sketch marker, my paper, and I've decided that I really like this worm, so I'm going to do something with that. And but he also does some with words, and in the Microsoft Word document that I'm going to send you, there'll be examples you can see better than what you saw on my laptop of his work. And you can, of course, use your technological resources to just Google Romero Britto, which the spelling will be in the document that I send, and do an image search, and you'll be able to see everything I'm looking at of his work. So, but he also does words. So I think I'm going to include maybe I'll do two, but I'm going to start with this worm, and this is a pretty simple shape. Kind of does this. That was fun. And now underneath here is the other line that's going to follow. There, like that. I'm going to give him a mouth. I like how he shows him going above and below the ground. So I'm going to put this line in here. This is going to be like the ground. Now here's where overlapping takes place. So I stop my line at the worm. Imagine where it's going to pop out at the other side. Continue, stop, little line in there. And it's going to pop out here, continue, stop, and then from here to the edge of the page. So below this is going to be my earth and my ground, and then above it is going to be, sky. So I can show some grass. I'm just going to do some spiky lines like that. All right, so that's a pretty good start. I have my basic focal point, that's the worm, and I have a basic background, the ground, below ground, and above ground here. I'm going to stop the video, and I'll come back and talk about patterns, more line work before we talk about color. Okay, so I added some details. I filled in the inside of the eye. That's pretty easy. You guys could do that with a pupil and just leave a little square white. Makes it look like a reflection. And I thought of things that I connected with worms. And well, worms help things grow. They help keep soil healthy, which helps plant grow. So I put, instead of a crown that was in his example, I put a flower pot on the worm's head. And I did stick with the apple because the worm in the apple is kind of a thing. So I put that on there just for fun. Now I'm going to break up the workspace here into some sections of patterns. So this, below this line, is supposed to be dirt, and you can see I put a diagonal line there. I'm going to do some more lines that kind of break up this space. So I'm going to do a line that goes like this. It's going to stop because it goes underneath him. And then maybe here, there's another line that comes down. That's going to continue through. I'm going to make that thicker. Yeah. And then this thing over here could go diagonal the other way. Maybe I'll do like a little strip down here and then a diagonal this way. There, that's kind of neat. I like that. So I'm also going to break up the worm into some sections. Now when he does on his, and there's no, you don't have to copy his exactly, we're just doing kind of in the spirit of, his lines that divide the worm up into sections go through and extend past the worm, like big lines. I'm not going to do it that way. I'm just going to do a line that goes like this from edge to edge there and stops inside the worm. I can use this line. He does that too. Make it a little thinner, but I'm going to use that. I'll do one here. And I'll do one. I'll go with that. Okay, keep the ground line there. And I'll go with this one here. There. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections of worm. And yeah, I'm good with that. So now what I would do is I would start figuring out the colors and patterns that I'm going to put in these. And he likes to use these like polka dot and stripe patterns. So I'm just going to draw those in with black and then I'll color them in with marker later on. I'm actually going to do one down here in the dirt. I'm going to do this. And I'll do some kind of striped dirt. And maybe over here, I'll do some polka dots. Now polka dots, I just draw a circle. I'm going to go diagonal from that. I'm going to draw another circle. This one I'm going to make go kind of off. You think about like a dice, how the 5 is. Like it makes an X of the... so I'm going to go diagonal up, and here would be another one. Diagonal down, we'd see a part of one here. Same with this, diagonal down over here, there'd be like a chunk of one kind of in the corner, and then the rest of it would go out of that space. And that's kind of your staggered polka dot pattern, just circles or parts of circles like that. So then inside the worm, I think I'm going to leave the head a solid color like he does, because there's already detail in there with his mouth and eye. But this second section here, now I have polka dots right here, so I wouldn't want to put polka dots right next to it. But I could do stripes in there, and I could make the stripes go this way. And then I'll do something else here. Maybe I could do, he does those squiggles. That's what I'm going to do with color, but I'm going to skip that one and go over here. I'm going to do polka dots up here. So here's a circle. There's part of one. There's one. Now I'm going to go diagonal down here. Pretty much can see that whole one. Diagonal over. Here. There would be one here, but we wouldn't really see it. Down, there would be maybe a piece of one there. Maybe a chunk of one there. Chunk of one like that. There. There's that kind of polka dotty area there. Now what do I want to do? I think I'm going to do some stripes. And I want these stripes to go this direction. Notice how I keep all my lines kind of going in one direction. I don't, I keep the space kind of the same between them and the direction the same. That kind of matters for this type of pattern. So I'm happy with that. That's a good starting point for all the line work. I'm going to stop the video and I'll bring it back and talk about how we apply color. Okay, so I'm going to show you a way that he creates a colored section that has pattern in it without the pattern being drawn with black marker. So what I did here is I have purple and then I have pink. So the pattern I would do with the darker color, and then I would color in all the space. You can color right through it with the lighter color. And I'll show you how to do that. So he makes this pattern that's made up of like a squiggly line that just does loop-de-loops. And they kind of go in different directions, like little springs. Some of them might kind of go off the page. So I'm going to fill up with a bunch of these little springies. And then another thing that he adds in some of these areas are lines and dots. So I'm actually just going to put some kind of like straight lines that do the same thing as the squiggles. They kind of all fall in different directions here in the spaces that are kind of empty. And there, I'm happy with that. So that's enough with the dark purple. Now I can take this and just go all around it. You'll still be able to see. The key is doing your line pattern with the darker color. And then, and like I've done a lot with marker, I kind of edge the shape first. Notice I'm going all the way around the inside of the shape with the wide part of the marker, and then it makes it easier to fill up the inside. This is pretty fruity tooty right now. This is scented markers. This is, I don't know, bubblegum flavor. There, that's pretty good. So, real quick, I'll do, he uses bright colors, but he alternates them so that they're not, he might use red in a few different sections, but he doesn't have, he wouldn't do 3 sections of worm red right next to each other. So since I use purple and pink here, I'll choose some different colors to use in the next door neighbor there. So I think I'm going to use, I'm going to do orange and yellow. The shot there, make sure you see what I'm doing. So I'm going to skip the middle because that's going to be yellow, and then I'll do this again, edging the outside of the shape, fill in the inside. Cap your markers when you're not using them. Save a marker. There. Right, and I would continue doing that. So I'm going to stop the video. I'll bring it back when I have a little bit more done and show you my progress. Okay, so I have the pattern of my focal point, my worm, all colored in. My solid blue and stripes and squiggles. And I added some more polka dots in the tail. So I'm happy with that. So now to work on coloring in the rest of this, you want to put the same energy into your background. Now some things, like the details of the apple, I can just do a solid color. I don't have to do pattern everywhere. Add a little bit of green in there. Stem of the flower and the leaf. I'm just going to put a yellow middle and leave the petals white, and my flower pot can be brown. Notice I turned the paper to make it easier for me to use the marker. It's like my marker hand stays in one place and I just move the paper around to get where I need to go. So there's that. And now, for the grass, he divides, if I just do like a few of these little lines here. I can do my grass like kind of two-tone, which is gives it a little bit more, makes it look a little bit neater. So what I mean by that is I have two greens. I have a lighter and a darker green. So what I would do here is on one side of my line, I go with the dark green. And then I switch to the light for a section and then switch back. I think you'll find that that's going to look a lot more interesting than just all one color green across there. Back to the dark. Right up against his head there. And I would keep doing that all the way across. I think that's going to look cool. So down here in the bottom section, I'm going to use some colors that kind of resemble dirt. Like for instance, maybe I might do this. I could do one of these lines and squiggles. Remember the spring pattern? I can do it down here in my dirt. Make a few go off. There. Now I need a lighter color, and yellow fits with brown, I think, for dirt, for underground. I mean, you don't have to do all earth colors. He does some bright colors too, which I will do. But basically, we want to fill up the bottom with color and some pattern all the way across. And then the grass, and then the sky. Okay? So I'll bring it back when I'm near done and show you what the finished product is going to look like. Okay, so I have quite a bit done here now, guys. I got my complete pattern done down here, what's supposed to be, you know, the ground underneath the grass, the worms going in and out of it. Got the grass colored in. I just have this top part, and you know, the example I was looking at, using my online resources, which I really encourage you guys to do, to have something to look at. And you can use the examples that I send in my Microsoft Word doc. There's a good amount of his work in there for you to look at. And then change it and make it your own. But the top is all yellow with pattern. And that's a lot to color in. Now, how could I problem solve to still do something with that and make it kind of quicker? Well, I could use pattern. So instead of coloring it in completely yellow, maybe I would just do a yellow pattern. There's a couple that I used here. I mean, there's the big drawn-in polka dots and stripes, but also I use this squiggle spring with the lines. You can see that over here. Here's just some squiggly lines, and this one is a line and circle pattern. I think I'm going to use the line and circle pattern up here and see how that looks if I just do that with yellow in different directions all over the place here. Overlapping. This one's going to go behind. Runs into the worm. There. Now it might be hard for you to see this on camera, the yellow pattern, since it's a light color. But I wanted to make it light because I don't want the background there to kind of take away. There's enough going on here. But since I'm leaving it yellow with white, and I would continue this pattern all the way across, maybe I should do something with my flower. So I have this light purple color. So instead of leaving the petals white, since there's so much white in the background, I'll just kind of color them in with this. Alright, so I'm going to stop this and I will finish my pattern. Show you the end. Okay, so I have everything colored in, I have the pattern finished, and I'm happy with this. This is a really cool, bright color pattern work, marker drawing in the style of Romero Britto. So all that's left to do is sign it. So I've got a black marker. I'll go into one of my light spaces here, like this light yellow. And I could sneak in an Moran in here. And then maybe I'll put the date over in that light orange spot. Okay, so that's finished product there. Real quick before I let you go, here's an example of doing one with a word. So I did this fancy word art, and I did like fancy letters, block letters. You know, I did a line and then over and then swoop this way down. Nice curved bottom, a block letter. This curves up, goes down, this curves, and then I have like a little inside part. So there's my A. So when I drew the R, I knew I wanted it to be covered by part of the A. So I just started the R here, stop. Where would that line pop out? Well, it's going to do this little curvy kind of point here that comes out behind that A. Here, I decided that's going to stop there and go up. And you can see how I finished the R, and then I did the same thing with the T. Right? So now I could make this into a landscape. I could say, well, this is going to be a hill that comes down like that, and another hill that goes. And this hill I'm going to make go behind. Where's that going to pop out? Right here and right here. Right? So there's a couple hills. Now, this next line, I'm going to draw right through everything. So I'm going to go up, curve, and right through. And I want that, I'm going to make that a fatter line. Right through my letters. And then another one that goes kind of above here. Let's make this guy go up. I'm going to go behind that. And behind that. And there. It's kind of cool. All right. So now inside my letters, where that line is would be a pattern change, right? So maybe I would do stripes, diagonal stripes here, and then I would do polka dot here. That's cool. All right, so you could do another one, and I could keep filling in pattern in here, and then of course in the background too, and create something like this, but with a word, okay? So, hope you guys enjoy. Happy creating. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.